In Georgia, a newly released report indicates that a Fulton County special grand jury found no evidence of widespread fraud in the 2020 election. Parts of the grand jury's investigation into former Trump's actions in Georgia after the election were released today. Just parts. The grand jury unanimously rejected Trump's conspiracy theories about election fraud after hearing extensive testimony from state employees, poll workers, and technical experts. The report also indicates that the grand jury recommends perjury indictments for some witnesses. We don't know what some means.
Yeah, well, our 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor's with us now to talk about what those might mean. And let's start with the basics. This is a special grand jury. What is the difference between a special grand jury and a regular grand jury?
Right. So this is interesting. So this special grand jury was convened specifically to determine if charges should be brought for the phone call between President Trump and the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and whether there were election laws violated. So this was a special grand jury that had the ability to issue subpoenas and look at documents, subpoena evidence and witnesses. And so they did that, over 75 witnesses. And from May through, I think, December, they listened to all these witnesses and now issued their report, making recommendations now to the prosecutor, Fani Willis.
So this group is done now. This special grand jury is done. Their report is their final work.
That's exactly right. They can't issue indictments, and now they made their recommendation. And that they had a hearing a couple weeks ago about whether the report should be made public or not. And Fani Willis, the prosecutor, wanted it to remain private so that other potential defendants, it didn't impact their ability for a fair trial, which implies there's going to be other defendants in prosecution.
I know that's gotten so much attention as of late, but this has been going on for a long time. And some would say, was this worth it? This is a lot of resources.
That's a great question because, what's going to come from this? But on the other hand, they're saying, well, we witnessed the crime happen. And specifically, it was the one sentence. And here's the quote when President Trump said, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have. And that, coupled with the fact that they tried to issue a new slate of electors, including Rudy Giuliani, and those two are the main things that are potential prosecution.
What we did and what we didn't learn from this heavily redacted brief section of this special grand jury's report, does that mean anything? It seems like such a small slice of what may have been in there was released today. So we really don't know what may come of this yet.
No, we don't. I think what we can conclude, though, is that there will be charges that will be imminent. Now, I would expect there would be a grand jury convened to actually issue those indictments. But based on the potential perjury that they're talking about and based on Fani Willis, her arguments in the hearing last week, would suggest that they're going to
a timetable on that now. She has a full report. Is it up to Fani Willis now to decide to go forward with charges?
Yeah, with the grand jury, which I would expect it would be in the next few weeks that we would see charges.
Wow.
And of course, if we see charges against a former president, this is unprecedented. How this would happen, how the prosecution would go, I don't even know, but it would be interesting to see.
Certainly.
How
Certainly.
it turns out.
That'll get our attention.
It's like they release like a crumb here and there, a redacted report and then a crumb of information. So
just the debate about releasing it or not was a big deal. So, today they may have thought they split the baby, but not much came out.
No, not much came out. But if they do issue indictments and they do start prosecutions, I would suspect the full report would be released at some point.
All right, Whitney, we'll stay on it.
Thanks for explaining all the grand jury, special grand jury, and juries.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.